blackcurrant. But I've now got 5 different blackcurrant smells.
Okie doke.
There's nothing on the strip now. Miming. Fruit. I like to use fruit of all kinds of varieties in fragrances, but lots of questions have been asked recently are about whether or not they are natural. Mostly all from the same person. Every time I say we could smell that, like, is it natural? No. But another thing about using fruit accords fruit bases made from natural isolates. Natural isolates are still chemicals. They've just been part of a plant more recently than the chemicals that are not natural isolates. I'm not sure if I explained that very well.
I think you've explained it very well. But also see the film
previous
on naturals and synthetics.
Yeah, see previous film. You're right. I want to start with Raspberry Leaf Absolute. I did say I'd go alphabetically. I lied. Colour.
Wow.
I discovered Raspberry Leaf Absolute almost by accident because when I was buying lots of things originally from Adam Hermitage, he had some. I thought, right, I want raspberry. It turns out not to be particularly well known. See previous film about history of 4,160 Tuesdays. And see what happens at first on this. Sometimes you think, can't smell much, there's not much there. Because it is seriously like bottom heavy. Doesn't leap off at you. Then eventually you just go, oh, raspberry jam.
Really?
Yeah, that will happen. If you want to put it down and pick it up later. But this gives it a sort of an underall raspberry rumble.
Raspberry rumble.
Raspberry rumble, new dessert. So it's made from raspberry leaves. There was a strawberry leaf absolute and a peach leaf absolute which existed, but I never managed to get hold of any, and now they stopped making it. The company was making it was Payon Bertrand, they stopped. So I have 1 gram of strawberry leaf absolute, which I'm saving to make myself a thing. Maybe if I just shout loud enough, they'll hear me and make some more. And I like my red fruits in fragrances, and very early on I started using them. Then you've got the whole cassis thing, the blackcurrant, which is another of my favourites, and I've got blackcurrant bud absolute, so bourgeon de cassis. I've also got a natural blackcurrant Frankenstein. It's a construction from Natural Absolutes by Manfis, called the Blackcurrant Nat Pop. I've got the Cassis Base 345B from Firmenich, which is a base. I've just got the Gévaudan Vert de Cassis, that one that I sent you to find but forgot to tell you it was in French. That was me, not me. You're looking for blackcurrant. And then I've got a tiny bit of bourgeon de cassis, which is that's a base as well from. Okay, so this is the Manfis base blackcurrant, which I used in a few things. But for me, it's blackcurrant ski yogurt.
Yeah.
So it is technically natural, and these have been made, we've said it before, but these are for sort of mostly for food flavourings, so that food companies can put 100% natural flavouring on the thing, and people go, oh, lovely. That's why they exist. Doesn't mean they're made for blackcurrants, not like Ribena. But
it's very interesting.
That's another thing, by the way, is crack this one open. There's another natural, which is an actual essential oil. I shouldn't do this with my teeth. I would. I do it live with my teeth because that's evil. There you go. unprofessional. So, smell this. I don't know if you'll know what it is. It's in
Oh, I really know that.
The Darkest Bloom from Shadow Scent by P.M. Freestone. Yeah. But this, I'm not sure actually whether it's pronounced buku or buchu. B-U-C-C-H-U. I thought it was buchu, but no, I'm not so certain. So this is, it's from a plant. It's from leaves. But it's used to flavour blackcurrant wine gums.
That's exactly what it was that I was thinking of.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's unmistakable, actually.
Once you mention it, it's so blackcurrant wine gum.
Yeah.
It actually smells like blackcurrant wine. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
You've taken all the blackcurrant and turned it into alcohol. And that's another blackcurranty aroma you can get. It's not cheap, but it's not as expensive as blackcurrant Odd Absolute. So I could just spend this whole fruit thing talking about blackcurrants.
You love blackcurrants.
Which, do you know it's Japanese for blackcurrant?
Sarah.
I wish it's cassis.
Oh.
They just took the French word. I was very disappointed. So what's wrong with blackcurrant? Oh, it's cassis. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Yes, it is.
It's a nicer word, isn't it? Cassis.
Cassis, it's a good word. Blackcurrant's nice too. It just reminds me of Ribena. That's my Ribena obsession. I like blackcurrant in almost everything. So blackcurrant, you can get some really amazing synthetic bases. You can get a couple of natural ones, and you can get blackcurrant Odd Absolute, which is not actually made out of the fruit.
Mm.
The natural is made from the buds. Now, just as a side issue here, beginning with B and natural, and it's a CO2 extract, and there's a bit of hammering and drilling in the background just so everybody knows this is real. I should have told you before I hit you with this.
It's a liqueur. So I'm getting drunk just smelling it.
It smells like the kind of thing you bring back on a holiday from Greece in a bowls bottle.
Yeah.
This is banana CO2 extract.
Yeah. Wow.
But CO2 extracts have to be made out of things which are very, very dry. You can't make them out of fresh leaves, and you can't do that. They have to be desiccated first. So this is dried bananas.
So it's banana chips.
So yeah, that's what it smells like.
Yeah.
Banana chips.
But boozy. Smells like boozy banana chips. That's very
right.
boozy
it
to
does
me.
a bit, doesn't it? I think they've gone a bit fermented as they were drying down.
Yeah.
So, but I had one tiny sample of banana CO2 extract. I've diluted it to 10%. And if anybody comes around occasionally and says, "Can I have a banana fragrance?" This is all I've got.
Yeah.
Because, but yes, it exists. So
It's nice, I like it. The more I smell it, the more I like it.
banana with blackcurrant. No, banana with raspberry. Anyway, you can come back to your raspberry now and see.
Yeah, I just came back to it.
Oh, jammy.
I can smell it less. I think I need to put it down for a bit.
Yeah. It just, I mean, it is a real low fragrance, that raspberry leaf. Well, we've smelt raspberry ketone before. That is synthetic. You can also buy the natural, because we were talking about the cost of that in the naturals and synthetics film.
Yeah.
You can get both. You can get it made from raspberries, you can get it synthetic. So if I'm going to use a raspberry, I'll probably use a little bit of that. Deeply expensive now, and also a lot more raspberry ketone. What other interesting fruits would you like to put into your fragrance if you've got a chance?
Apricot.
Apricot. Yes, and I have an apricot 100% natural, which is made by Robertet. And it's downstairs, but it smells of apricots. So that exists. I'll go with its friend, the peach.
Yes.
Because I have a peach Robertet, 100% natural, but not made out of peaches, downstairs too. But this is the one that's been around for ever. and is in a lot of interesting chypre fragrances, starting with Mitsuko probably. And this is peach lactone. Gamma
Milky peach.
lactone. Yes, also known as C14, aldehyde C14, but it's not an aldehyde.
It's nice with the banana.
Oh, yeah. That's not banana. That's banana.
And the blackcurrant. Just whack it with everything.
Let's just make a fruit salad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so peach lactone smells light, lasts a long time, and if you use a bit of that, it will just make your whole fragrance peachy. I did have a natural peach CO2 extract at one point, but I couldn't get any more. And anyway, it's kind of oil based, and it wouldn't dissolve in ethanol. So it was lovely to smell, but I couldn't use it. So every now and again, some companies will bring out a small batch of something like this, and it's lovely, but it then is sort of not commercially available. So sometimes you can't get too fond of these things. So excuse me as I put myself out of focus.
That's fine.
We smelt the framboise with Harry, which is from, this is the Firmenich. Framboise being a raspberry. Yes, I'm not moving far. Not falling far from the tree. I'm getting raspberry. It's very, very fine base, this.
Gonna whack that with the banana. Oh.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm sorely tempted. I mean, it would be an investment, the framboise.
It's pingy. I call it pingy. Like it pings at you.
Yeah.
Good,
And this is why I think it's lovely to buy bases from companies who are better at it than I am. I mean, why compete when you can collaborate? That's what I say.
Exactly. Yeah.
And if somebody else has been doing it longer, and they've got hundreds of them working together to produce lovely things for you, excuse me a while, pick up my strip, then, take advantage.
With a mass spectrometer.
Absolutely. Just like headspace the raspberry and go. Let's talk about apples a little bit, because I put Firmenich Granny Smith into Up the Apples and Pears. And it smells just like you have sliced into a green apple, fresh green apple. You wouldn't believe, people cannot believe that it's not natural and made out of apples. But that's just because they're very good at it, like an artist painting an apple. It looks like a photograph of an apple, but it's paint. That's how good they are. And now there's also the Robertet, 100% natural apple, but not made out of apples.
Yes.
So you've got an apple choice. Plus, ethyl safranate smells very appley. You can get appliness from just using that single molecule, ethyl safranate. They smell like kind of apples and leather. Apples in a leather bag, ethyl safranate. Fructone smells really quite appley. And fructolate is almost like half apple, half raspberry. So I put just fructolate in something recently to get just the impression of an apple. I turn the noise off again. Because it's like that, if you say to somebody, can you smell the apples? They'll go, yeah. And you can do that with fructolate. The melon thing. I tend to use one called melon if I want a melon aroma. It's funny how, like, the paler and squidgier the fruit is, the more it smells like a top note. So I have the melons as the toppiest of top, and then you get down to cassis, which is like the darker and heavier it is, the more jammy they are at the base.
Yeah.
And in the middle you've sort of got the apple and pear thing. I use, there's a pear nut pop as well, but it's quite pear droppy. It doesn't smell a lot like pears. And there's a pear, Robertet. So fruit fans, we are we are served up with a veritable delight at the moment of things which just didn't used to be around. And this is one of the good things about customers demanding naturals, even though they don't know why. I mean, they know why, but it's not actually, it doesn't really help. But is that the perfume companies have started making things and say, okay, that's natural, technically. And so we'll get the advantage. I'm going to dip this. It's funny, I was looking up, I've got these books by Poucher, W.A. Poucher, and he was, he's basically a Victorian. He was born in the second to last century, and his books and his writing are absolutely lovely, and I've ended up with a lot of copies of book one, but the 3 volumes, Poucher, and he wrote about this one, and all he writes is, it's produced by a company in Mysore from an artemisia. And I thought to myself, reading that, Mr. Poucher, you have not smelt this, because if you had smelt this, you would write something beautiful. So he's written that it exists, and it's a darkish liquid, but he hasn't said anything, and I don't. That's definitely what I take from that is at that point he didn't have a sample. Do you know what it is?
Hey.
It is Divana. Which to me smells like mulled wine. So it smells like stewed fruits. Like if you've taken prunes, which by the way, French for plum is prune, and French for prune is pruneau. So a dried plum is a pruneau. So just
don't eat too many of them in one go.
This is definitely good advice.
That's so interesting because I don't smell that at all. I just smell hay bales.
Do you?
Yeah.
This is that thing where people think we just look like we paused.
Yeah.
I've
I've always thought that with this because obviously it's in the perfume kit, so I've bottled lots of it.
You're thinking of hay.
I always thought I didn't realise it was fruit.
Very good. Well, it isn't. It's fruity, but it's made out of an artemisia leaf.
Right. Okay.
It's
yes.
actually
Yeah.
a herb, but
that's right. Yeah, it's more herbaceous.
But it's one of those things which, if you want to use an actual essential oil and not push the boundaries of what's natural and what's not.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've got an apple. Isn't it essential oil? No. It's lots of things, all having gone through a chemistry factory, reassembled, technically natural. But this is an essential oil. So, I like it.
What do you normally pair that? Like, what would you go to what kind of things?
It's in Captured by Candlelight for part of the Christmas pudding aroma. Yeah. So it's fruit cake for me and fruit puddings and wintry things that you've dried and then you've cooked and served with.
I think I've got to see what it smells like with the banana.
Why not? Well, this is perfumery, isn't it?
Oh, it's nice. So apparently
Divana and banana.
Banana. Yeah.
Danana.
Banava.
Bavana.
If anyone has ever wondered how you come up with your names,
we just sit here and say stupid things until they drop out.
Yeah.
Although Bhavna is an Indian name. I wouldn't say that. But I've smelled something recently. It smelled just like. Oh, I know. It's a plant. There's a plant in our park that it's got long fronds of little white flowers, and it smells like. There go the builders. It smells like banana and blackcurrant or banana. It smells like banana and buchu together. This plant. So I was thinking.
What's buchu?
It's the one that smells like blackcurrant wine gums.
Oh yes, that one. That one. Sorry.
I might have pronounced it correctly. Incorrectly. I know.
Yes, this
I need
is
someone from South Africa who it's produced to tell me how you pronounce it.
Buchi.
Yeah, or buku, but I can't do. I can only say helicopter. My best.
I can only say South Africa, which is entirely useless for
South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah. But there's some great producers. There's some wonderful things being grown in South Africa.
Oh, no doubt.
Because their terrain is different from everybody else's, and their geraniums smell different. There's just... Now this one, we've only got tiny little foliage.
I would be interested to know, actually, what... so, say, for example, if you grew a geranium, if you grew it in symbiosis with different types of fungus in the soil, because everything's symbiotic with fungus, it would smell different when it then got turned into an essential oil. Because they do that with tomatoes, is that if they grow tomatoes with different funguses, they taste different, they look different. Changes the tomato. Maybe we should start fungus
geranium farming.
Yeah. It's a sidetrack.
If we weren't busy, I hope somebody does though.
Oh yes.
Excuse me. Right. This is the one that Owen said was lilt.
Yeah. Oh, I know what this one is. Yeah. It is. This is. It is lilt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like definitely.
So this is the actual Tropi fruit Givco from Givaudan. Tropi fruit Givco 205.
It's just tropical fruits.
It's tropical fruits. It's just all of them all at once in all one go in a base.
Yeah.
So put this with a bit of
mango. Oh no, mango's in this.
I would say this is mango-ish. Coconut.
Yeah.
Gamarocta lactone. Coconut.
Breadfruit.
And a bit of benzyl salicylate, xanthan aroma.
Yeah.
You got instant beach.
So you were going to pair this with something before I said mango at you.
Oh, I was going to say coconut. Sorry, I already said it.
That's what you were saying.
Waited till you were finished.
Yeah,
and
you
then,
already said it.
Yeah, and said it, so it's fine. What fruits have we missed out? Strawberry. So, there are fraise bases, which are just as good as these. There's now a natural strawberry. I'm just going to sound like I'm the Robertet advertisement today, but since they all arrived last week from Perfumer's Apprentice, I'm interested in making fruit salads. But that's for a particular project that's about an orchard, a traditional fruit growing part of the UK. So, we're not talking about citrus fruits because they are fruit, but that's a whole other planet. Besides, we've done that.
Yeah.
So citrus fruits aren't. You would see them in the fruit bowl, yes, but in perfumery, you generally think of citruses as separate from fruity.
Yeah.
Citruses
well, they smell very
differently.
Yeah.
But I like citruses with flowers very much. There's fruits. I like my fruits with flowers. Damascones as well. Alpha, beta and delta. Tiny amounts because they're rose ketones and so they're very restrictive because they're skin sensitizers. But you don't need a lot. But the blackcurranty one would be delta. So strawberry, raspberry-ish is beta. Alpha is velvety, rosy, fruity, rosy. You can add those in. I'm just thinking my way around a fruit bowl.
Grapes.
Grapes, not really.
You use all them to make wine.
Well, yes, but then you get fusel oil, which is made from.
Oh yeah, I smell that one. Yeah.
Right, which smells sort of boozy, a little bit pokey. It doesn't smell like grapes.
No.
Grapes don't. Do they smell of much? And then, you've got those grapes that Tesco have once a year, the candy floss grapes.
Candy floss grapes.
Yeah. And
they've also got strawberry grapes.
Yeah. Harry used to bring them in.
Yeah. Oh, it's so tasty.
The candy floss grapes are something else.
They're unbelievable.
But they must have natural ethyl maltol in them.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I don't think it existed naturally.
unless they are like fertilising the soil with something like that.
But yeah, so those are all lovely. What do I? But mostly I'm a blackcurrant raspberry sort of a person. When it comes to fruit, that's what I will use. Yes, apricot. There's a material called apricot which smells very softly and gently of apricots. Apelide is a musk. It smells a bit appley. The more refined version of it is Edenolide. Well, that's the kind of apple, obviously, you'd find in the Garden of Eden. Habanolide is quite pear-like. Although there probably wasn't an apple in the Garden of Eden, it was probably a pomegranate. There weren't any apples.
No, yeah.
In the Middle East.
Pomegranate. There we go. Is there a pomegranate?
Oh no. It's quite tricky when one of the world's best-selling fragrances is said to smell of pomegranate. That would be a recreation by a perfumer to evoke.
Yes, because it doesn't really have a smell. Not really a pomegranate. If you whack your nose.
You don't get that much.
No. You mentioned figs before.
I have.
Fig would be an interesting one because people often in candles, people go mad for fig fragrances, but it doesn't exist, does it?
There is a fig absolute.
Yeah.
But it's banned. I mean, totally banned because it's just so horrible on the skin.
Oh, right.
Kind of stuff, just like. But the fig aroma, I evoke that.
Is that why it's all turned up in candles, by the way? Then?
No, that's not natural at all.
No.
Fig candles don't have any figs in them. There's a beautiful dark fig fragrance made by Angela Flanders, which is called Figue Noire, which is, the squidgy ripe fig. But most of these figgeries are green figs, as if you just snapped it off too early, and it's the kind of the sap smell. You wouldn't want to eat it when it's that green. So it's almost more of a fig leaf smell, but it doesn't smell that much like figs. It's just that's what we've all come to understand fig fragrances to be. So I evoked mine by using stemone, fructone and verdox, 3 different very green smelling materials. Fructone is the appley one we mentioned earlier. And then I realised that if I use green tea Givco, which we were talking about with Harry, tiny amount of that, it smells to me much more like the green fig that people want in their fragrances than green tea.
Wow.
So I actually use Givaudan's green tea to make a fig aroma if that's what people want. But tiny amount, that'll do it. But when people could come here and they kept saying, "Have you got any fig?" And I kept saying, "No, there isn't any fig there." And eventually, the penny dropped, and I thought, "Oh, for goodness sakes, McCartney, make one because people want it." Oh, that reminds me, cherry. Oh yeah. Cherry.
Cherry who?
Cherry who? Yeah, I got asked would I make a cherry fragrance for Korea. So I actually have that's another thing. Yeah, that I had to evoke a quince here. So to evoke a quince, I used Divana, lime, mandora, rubifuran, and bergamot.
It sounds like you'd have to do quite a complicated spell to evoke a quince. Yes.
Yeah, that as well, secretly, when no one's looking. Of course, the rhubarb thing.
Yeah.
There are 2 different aroma chemicals. I have rubifuran, but this is the one that I made a bit of a mistake. I put the rubifuran with methyl pamplemousse, the grapefruit, and accidentally made cannabis. The smell of burning herb.
I mean it's very nice though.
Yeah.
It does smell very nice. I mean, it's not like
mistake there.
It's not like back alley fumes. It's like
it's got people into trouble.
Has it really?
Yeah. A couple of teachers got reported to the head by the pupils.
Really?
Smelling marijuana. Yeah. So that person had to sell her bottle, and my co-writer Sam Scriven, her husband said to her, "You've been smoking marijuana?" She said, "No." Said, "You smell like the back alley around the back of the cinema or something," and so she had to get rid of that.
You can only sell your bottle of it though if you sell it on a street corner with your hood up. On
the scooter. Yes, real clear. So the cherry, I played around a bit and made my own cherry accord, which, I like sharing my formulas. Like this one, I just don't want to tell anybody. You're not having it. But, I forgot about the raspberry butanone. That's a really lovely thing as well. Benzaldehyde smells of almonds, which is... And actually, it turns out...
Comes from a fruit.
It does. But bitter almond essential oil actually comes from not just almonds, but they use peach stones and apricot stones to make it as well.
Really?
Yeah. Might as well, rather than throwing them away.
Yeah.
But, so, cherries, it's quite iron-only. There's violet-y stuff going on there. But I used raspberry, benzaldehyde, raspberry butanone, benzaldehyde, ionones. I put a bit of mandora in there, apritone, the soft apricot aroma I was telling you about, and ethyl maltol and ethyl vanillin. I just didn't say what quantities, did I? But yes, that is how I made Cherry Who, which is coming out soon in Korea.
Yes.
Didn't really like doing world exclusives, but I'll do whatever Shim wants because Shim's lovely. So yes, I made a cherry, and sometimes like evoking the smell of a quince.
Is there
Divana?
Is there a quince?
There's not a quince natural yet. Yeah. It's very difficult to get aroma materials that are solid or liquid out of a fruit. They just exist as gases. So you can't, and also it's just such a lot of water. Fruit is basically 98% water and then tiny little bits of other stuff.
So this is why CO2 extraction, that has to be dry anyway, so you can only use things that are dry.
Yeah, you have to desiccate them first till they're dry as a bone, and then get the aroma materials out of them by freezing them freezing them until they basically crack open and let the smelly bits out on a molecular level. I'm very technical. I noticed in the Harry film when I was like, my job seems to be sitting there going, and what he means is that Harry's and I go, that's chemistry. Yeah, I think my job is just trying to explain stuff I'm the interpreter. What he said is that. But yes, the CO2 extraction, that's the perfumer's joy at the moment, because that just gets such realistic aromas out of anything that can be dried down to the point at which they can be extracted.
Thanks.
That'll do, won't it? Fruit. Have we forgotten any? I'm sure we've forgotten some, doesn't matter. Mango.
I'm sure we have certainly forgotten some fruits.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. There are so many fruits.
Pineapple. Oh, yes.
Pineapple. Pineapple smells like parmesan, of course.
Yes. Which we talked about in the
other film.
So yeah. But now Robertet is making a natural pineapple. Isobutyl something. So I can never remember the name of the pineapple formula. I know how to find the answer. I mean, there is one particular molecule that is that smell of parmesan, pineapple, vomit. So it has to be dosed in very careful quantities.
It's all like context though, that molecule.
Yeah. That's what
you could smell it in several different contexts, and it will either make you salivate or make you feel sick.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Lovely. See you next time.
Questions later.